We all have Adam. Everybody knows Adam. Most of us know Adam. And Adam and Elizabeth, and their son is Jack. So one son. Elizabeth has to take care of two children. Okay, so, and the dynamic of being the sole bread earner, just the dynamics of it. Then we have okay. Then we have Nelson. You had his wife. We had his wife for Mother's Day, and so he, whether fortunate or unfortunate for him, he's my brother-in-law. So, and three children. As you know, Adam, is everything all right, Adam? Okay. I don't know, you're making a statement or all right. Upset with how I introduced you. Okay. And of course, they have the oldest son and then the gap of 10 years and then two other boys. So he and the wife actually anchor the entire kitchen at Dignity. So they cook for over 1,000 a day. And so in various things and doing their own business as well, yeah? Then we have Mr. Singh. I mean, the masquerading Punjabi. They all have Singh. So Pastor Fu Singh here. And Chinai, the wife, and 4 children. And there'll be an interesting dynamic, isn't it? Okay. Then we have Ellen. It's the first time I'm seeing you with long pants. I mean, so we have Ellen, married to Sophia. They have 3 children. And the son was at one of the MCs today. And then they're all serving. And so that's a whole different dynamic with their own business with the brother. So different things happening. And then we have Christina Gannison. So, in one sense, my adoptive daughter. So we've raised her up since she was 5 years old. She's just turned 15. No, she's in college now, and she will tell you that. We have Christina Chung coming, actually. Christina, who, my goodness, I saw her as, a 10-year-old girl? And having Dickie, that's Dickie, the father there, and Margaret and the other sister. Okay, so the moderator is finally here. Okay. And the other panel is also here. Amoy, sini. Okay, so we are ready. Everybody ready for them? Okay. Whether they are ready for the rest, I don't know, but it's going to be a wonderful time. We're going to be passing the mic because they were supposed to mic you up. Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. To all the father, a very happy Father's Day. And we are here to celebrate the biological father, but I know many of you also play a carer's role. We are here also to celebrate you. And if you have been a big brother, we are also here to celebrate your role as well. And of course, on the stage here, there are amazing fathers, don't you think so? I know they are chosen not because they are perfect, but they're chosen because they have amazing story to tell us today. And we can't wait to hear what they have to tell us. What do you say? Yeah. Okay. To start the ball rolling, we should ask them, can you describe one word what fatherhood is to you? Just one word, okay? Let's go. So for Christina and Christina. I thought there was going to be another name. For a while, I was like, for Christina and, oops. They're actually Christina. Okay, for Christina. So you will have to answer this. What do you think fatherhood, how your father would answer it, okay? Okay, who want to keep the ball rolling? Of course, it's Adam because he's seated next to me, okay? He will go first.
Father, so you need to learn how to... One word. Okay. Anting, anting. So don't think. Anting. Anting. Later, I explain to you. Oh, you got.
That's very chin, very deep. Renungkanlah kamu orang anting. Okay, let's go to Nelson. What is fatherhood? Hanya satu perkataan saja.
Papa lo deh.
Okay, a father is a dad. What's the difference of father and the dad? Renungkanlah. Okay, next.
One word, tiring.
Okay. Mother, do you hear that? Okay. Mother, tell me you heard that, okay? Okay, next.
I give you 2 words.
2 words. Okay, ini sudah blessing nih. Okay.
Unspeakable pain.
Children, do you hear that? Okay.
Honest, ma.
We definitely will dive deeper. Okay.
No wonder you're always silent.
And I would say the head. So towards the head of the family, the head.
The head. For a while, I thought head like benci, you know.
Head.
My heart went down bloop for a while. Okay.
The word that came to my mind is sacrifice.
Oh. Wow. What powerful word. Okay. We put them to test. That was very easy. Okay. What would your wife say what fatherhood is? One word only. Okay. Let's start with Christina Chong.
What did my mother say about my father?
No, fatherhood, not about your
what?
father. About fatherhood.
But you said how your wife will say, ma.
No, how your mother view fatherhood. One word.
Oh, I see.
Counseling session is not here.
How my
If you want
mother
for
would-
counseling session, please stay back.
I would say dependent. The word that came out.
Dependent. Okay, true, lady, true. Okay. Next.
Likely, I would say support.
Oh, support. Okay. Very good choice of word. Okay. They got a big gem. No. What do you think your wife would say about fatherhood? One word only.
No, I give you 2 words.
Oh, 2 words. Okay. Man of double blessing.
She probably say, Padan muka.
That's fatherhood. Okay. Fair. Okay.
Committed.
Committed. Okay. One word. The word is ask the wife. Yeah. Okay. Next person.
I think this word you.
Okay. Thank you so much for participating. I know you have 1 week of very stressful week thinking how you're going to answer the question that was given. Okay, don't worry. It's easy, okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, the first question we go to Alan. Okay, we know that Alan raised a mix, right? Boys and girls, and also different age group. Correct now? And we know how amazing his son is. Sometimes I look at the son, is this Alan or is this Keith? For a while, I have to shake my head and say, oh, this is Keith. Okay, so we also know Alan loves to cook a lot. Okay, what possible value for you cooking time with your son that absolutely you need to drive it home with your son? Can you share about one value? During your cooking time, okay?
Yes, Elizabeth, can you repeat?
Okay, I'm sure you have many cooking lessons with your son and your daughter, right? During that cooking time, what one value you feel like you drive it home with your son?
Very deep on this question. Cooking. Okay, I usually cook with Keith most of the time.
Okay.
So he's my sous chef. During those time when we cook, we always share our not so much of emotion, but more like, hey, what have you been doing while cooking? You know, how's this, how's that, how's school, how's your dongling and all those things. You know.
Our
So,
cooking lesson.
yeah,
Oh.
while we are cooking, so we kind of like do two things at one time.
Wow.
So for me to get to know him,
Adam is moving further and further away.
so it's all about being open to one another.
Okay, you hear that, young fathers? Tips for today. Cooking lesson turned to life lesson. So what is one value would you say you would want to see in your son?
Well, I think as a father, it's not one value, perhaps many values.
Okay.
But what I want them to be in the future is be someone that that you are able to contribute, whether to the family or even to the community. Be somebody who gives. So that is the value that I want them.
Wow, that's powerful, isn't it? Not what you can take, but what you can give. I think that is very powerful value. Because nowadays children is what I can get, but not what I can give. Okay, that's very good. Thank you so much, Alan. I hope I can join you some on your cooking lesson. Now we go to Uncle Nelson. For many people, they don't get second chance of being a father. But Uncle Nelson get a second chance being a father because he fathered Casper and Casper grew up. And then he got two very young kids. So it's like having a second chance of being a father. What one regret that you have with Casper, raising Casper, that now raising Casey and Colvin, you want to change that regret or improve on what you didn't do with Casper? Don't you think so, Uncle Nelson, get a second chance of being a father, right? Because you know Casper is already 26 years old, right? So Colvin and Casey, they are still very young, correct? So God gave Nelson, of all the fathers in the world, Nelson gets second chance to being a father. I'm sure you have many regrets, like all of us do as parents. We have many regrets when we raise our children. What is one regret that you have raising Casper? And that now that you have a second chance of raising Casey and Colvin, what is that one thing that you look forward to improve?
Casper 就埋Colvin 嘅，應該係隔咗10幾年嘅。要比較
So his elder son and the rest is about 10 to 12 years gap.
俾我講呢，就應該做爸爸嘅。我哋好重要做爸爸係因為兒女會跟隨我哋嘅鏡子嘅。事實，我哋係一個鏡子，定咩一個鏡咯。
I realize that our children will follow us, so we have to be a real model.
呢個鏡對爸爸係一個好傷害性對細路哥嘅，對我哋嘅兒女嘅。
So this piece of mirror that you pose will reflect either good or bad. So it's very important.
所以我哋必須要做爸爸嘅掌管我哋自己嘅脾性啊，我哋嘅腳步啊，甚至乎我哋嘅好多嘅唔啱啊，有時俾我本身好臭脾氣咯。喺 Casper 嘅時間極之好臭脾氣，係咪？同埋嗰啲臭話連飛咯。
So in order to teach children, so I feel like we make sure our life be careful how we act, how we do things. Like the eldest boy that time is very bad temper, vulgar words, things like that. So actually, I realized this have been damaged his life too.
所以俾我講呢，就Colvin 同埋KC 呢，我好似係第二個嘅生命咁樣咯。神已經救贖第二擺，係我就好大嘅改變，好大嘅呢個改變呢，就脾性嘅方面，同埋我嘅每一下0到1000咯，唔係0到100啊！我嘅脾性係0到1000嘅。一發脾氣咧，我就撳制唔到我嘅脾性嘅。
So I think the second chance that given when Casey and Colvin, I feel like, okay, it's a big changes for me, as my temper and my behavior is not 0 to 100. My one is more than 100 to 1,000 sometimes.
所以我都係勸告，身為一個爸爸，必須要咩點樣講啊？係要長自己嘅，你係一個鏡咯。如果你做乜嘢，個細路哥一定會跟你啊。如果你睇今日你問我企師做咩咁奀皮啊？企師點解好個個都講好 aggressive 啊？好似點樣特別好調皮啊？點樣講啊？
Yeah. So Casey is like me. He is active, and always like run here, run there. So
有時我都唔知啊，應該鬧佢或者好笑啊。
So I look at it. I don't know whether to scold him or laugh at him because I am the person like this. So infronted him in this way.
就係咁啊。
That's all lah.
Wow, thank you, Uncle Nelson, for being really open and honest with us. Wow, we really appreciate you. I suppose it's not everybody get the second chance, and while we are given that second chance, thank you for doing your best to Father Casey and Colvin. And we go to Adam. Of all the fathers here, Adam got it the easiest. He only got one child. You think so? So Adam, share a little bit because we know that Jack is very special for you. And in many times, you may need to wrestle the attention with your wife. Jack needs me. And Elizabeth said, no, Jack needs me. Okay, can you share that very special moment that, okay, this moment is just Jack and me. What would that moment be?
I think we don't have special method. Okay, I always use my method, the LIF, let it flow. Okay, but you make sure you are in the flow lah. So and every time what we think we discuss is we always spend time, invest time together, you know. So like, they make sure 365 days in a year, at least more than 70% days are having dinner together, okay? Then with Jack, I remember when he's in primary school, we need to take a jam about half an hour, send him to school. So that is the time that we having time together. But sometimes I feel like having time together, not talking, not asking things is very, very special. You know, that means just the silent next to each other. You know, you can try, you know, silent. Because you need to learn not to ask when your son is next to you, hey, how are you, da, 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 a lot of things to ask. But if you learn how to silent, just sit, okay, for 5 minutes is a very long time, okay? Because your children is very good in silent next to you. They wanted to ask and wanted to talk, but they learn very well to silent. Okay, better don't talk, you know. But we try to experience that. So I find that when the silent time is there, so like we understand each other.
Wow, that's really powerful, isn't it? Not all the talking, you know, be built, bonding through silence. Right? That's really powerful. Okay, let's go to Pastor Fu Sing. And we know you are blessed with ngam one, 2 sons and 2 daughters. Okay? Wow, very good. 50-50. I'm just wondering, do you raise your son differently than your daughters? If that's so, can you share that little bit?
Do I raise them differently? I think I use the same principles across the board for all 4 of them. And those are biblical principles. I try to apply that in whatever I teach them, how to live a good life, how to work with other people, how to engage the community and church and all that. That's all the same across the board. But how I connect with them or try to get a message across, I'm releasing all my secrets here. So with guys, I try to connect a bit more physically, meaning that whether it's through sports, you know, I try to connect with them there. Life lessons are communicated during the times we play tennis. Girls, more around food. Yeah, go and eat, have a drink, let's see how you're doing, you know. So in that way, that's the difference because, and also each 4 of them, they all have their different personalities. So different ones, there's a little different nuance. This one maybe a little bit more heart-to-heart over tea time. This one, some slow talk over after tennis or something like that, or, you know, just walking. Or there are some you just sit there, like Adam says, I agree. Yeah? Just being in silence together with one another is also very important. So it's really case to case, not so much boys or girls. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Also want to ask you, now that Sarah is stepping out to be a young woman, are you nervous?
Nervous.
What advice can you share? Not
Can.
How do you tell her the best quality in men to pick up for husband?
Okay. I have been thinking about this, even though this is not. I mean, quality-wise, I think is. I mean, without being cliche, you know, it has to be a person who follows Jesus wholeheartedly. But that is the given, right? It must be there. The foundation of that must be there. But I think the internal quality of a person I would recommend is somebody who's willing to listen and is able to change.
Yes,
You know, because-
adaptability.
I mean, adaptable is, I guess, one way of putting it, but somebody who is fixed in their ways, and doesn't want to change, it's very hard to date and live with. you know, so my advice would be to any young lady, find somebody who can realize, oh, I'm wrong lah. I think this part of my life I need to change, and is able to do that.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Sarah, do you hear that? Yeah, you got it now? It's tattoo on your eyelid already, right? Okay, all the qualities. Okay, we go to Christina. As you know that we know Uncle Dickie, right? And there's so many things we don't know about Uncle Dickie, correct? Or maybe Christina, you share a little glimpse what's Dickie's like as a father.
Okay, when we were very young, actually my father doesn't speak a lot. He works very hard. Sometimes he works 7 days a week just to make ends meet. Because when we were quite young, believe me or not, we were very small in size. So my dad actually told my mom, you got to quit, make sure that they are nourished and they go to school and they are taken care well. So then my father had to carry the load of the breadwinner. So he doesn't, like whenever he's tired, he comes back, he just don't have energy to spend with us as the daughters. He just works non-stop, to the point we couldn't go to church sometimes because we are dependent on him. My mom don't drive, right? So growing up, he has always been like that until we came to find NCC. The church is walking distance, so that's when we started to attend more regularly. So my father has always been very quiet until recent years only. When he hits 60 and above, his amount of words also increase a lot. He lecture and lecture and lecture and lecture and lecture. Sometimes I think it's to fill up the gap that my mother is not doing it. So my dad is covering that word count. Yeah. So yeah, my dad is like that lah. He's a faithful man who never stops providing. He has always been taking care of his family the best that he can, despite of not having much.
Okay. This is personal to me, but I have to ask the question because I'm a moderator. So, Christina Ganesan, what was your most impactful moment with Daddy?
Test. It's turned off. Sorry, Mommy, can you repeat again? Test. I'd say there's a lot, but if I have to... Oh, it's off again. Sorry. It will be, I think it was last year Christmas, over gift sharing and our dinner time. Or was it when I first started going to college? I'm not exactly sure. So we were chit-chatting and talking with the whole family, and I remember sharing that when I first started college, I was feeling a bit insecure, coming out from a very safe zone, growing up with this community, NCC, which is a safe place, and together with, it's basically a shielded and a protected place that I'm going out to college, right? And I see all kinds of characters of friends. And I was very fast to get quite a few friends, even in the first 3 months. And I also got to see how they behave, and some things is not worth mentioning, but I know it didn't align with how I grew up, in a faith-based family and community. So I remember sharing that and my struggle of fitting in or not wanting to fit in. I was different, or are they different? And I remember Daddy sharing that even when he was growing up, before he came to Christ and after, there were struggles for him too, how he had to sacrifice his own things so that he is able to follow God faithfully. And I found comfort in that kind of, it's a journey. I think that it's to talk about rejection, right? To be rejected by people, but to be continuously walking faithfully by God. So I remember the conclusion it was along this line that as long as I'm walking in the right path, knowing, making decision with wisdom, and to not lose myself in the midst of figuring all of this out. So I'm holding that memory close to my heart throughout my college journey.
Oh, thank you for sharing. and Christina, for you, very special, right? You have your biological father,
Yeah.
and you also have your foster father.
Yeah.
Has ever been, like in your life, you find that that's very challenging?
I would say yes, as much as it was challenging navigating having two families, even until now, it's a process and a progress, a lifelong progress. And as much as it is challenging, it is also special, like you said, having two families. There's a lot of people, and my family here is also all of you guys, NCC. There's so many people that have my back, and it's so special in that way for me. And it was challenging because there's two cultures and two traditions, and your attention span, your time in the whole year, it's gonna be divided into two. And at the end of the day, I need to figure out how I want to grow and whose value I want to hold close to. And I spend most of my time here. So I think most of it is from my foster family with mommy and daddy and also with NCC.
Thank you, Christina. I know it's kind of hard for her to share since we are here. If you want to know more, you can approach her personally. Okay, Alan, can you share how do you do bonding time with Kaylee?
Kelly, you want to answer?
Oh, she's here. Okay, hi, Kaylee.
I would say Kaylee and I, we have same thing in common. Uh, we love Malay food. We love oldies. Oldies. Old songs. Those in the 60s, 70s. Yeah, I mean, surprisingly for her age, yeah, she loves all these songs. So, uh, I will try to squeeze in whatever time I have left to be just with her, do silly things, or even go makan. Sometimes, without my wife's present, I will ask her, "Come, let's go eat Malay food." You know, we will go nearby, and there she will eat with her hands and all that. So she enjoy eating all this. So I will enjoy seeing her enjoying those kind of food that we love. You know. So at night or even in the morning when she's asleep, before I go to bed, I'll try to go tuck her in, kiss her, and all that. So uh, usually that's how I create a bond with her.
Oh, wow, that's really special. And thank you for mentioning that when your wife is not around, that's what you do for bonding. So I realize that that is very, very, very special. Sometimes to have that one-to-one, and it's our spouse is very important. Don't get me wrong, but that one-to-one is a very special, creating memory that will last forever. Right? Okay, Pastor Fusik, raising a house full of teenagers. Right, right or not? Okay, I'm sure it has its many beautiful moments now that they're grown up, very independent. They don't need you as much, right? And can you share your secret? How do you draw the phone rules with them? We want to know.
Okay, phone for phone. Our family's phone policy is basically no handphone. You don't get one until you are 14. Yeah, social media accounts also. We try to maybe say okay, no social media until you're 16. But that's just in theory. uh, Practically, after they're about 12, 13, whether they are on the internet, there's so much you can do without being coming across as too strict in that sense. So we try to tell them what are the dangers. I think whether it's in YC or it's at home, there are a lot of dangers out there when it comes to social media, and it comes in through the phone. But the lifestyle is such that when they are in playing tournaments or at church where they have to connect with some people or with us, this also needs the phone. You see, so that's always going to be that challenge. There was one time where we said, okay, once a week you must show us your screen time usage. Yeah, so that was one way. But having said that, after a while, not so easy to implement because you don't want to come across as overbearing, especially with the older ones as well. So it's not easy to balance. I just want to tell you that. Do I have a secret? No. It's just case to case. Keep an eye, is this guy or this girl a little bit too much, too into the phone? Maybe time to, come out a little bit, But it's really case to case, age to age. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Fusing. It's a constant battle, isn't it, for all parenting. Father wear many hats, isn't it? You are a disciplinarian, you are the provider, you are also a protector of your culture, legacy that you want to hand over. So, Uncle Nelson, I know you always say, speak Chinese more. Okay? And every time your children is answering you back in English, why do you think it's so important for them to speak Chinese? And how you're going to ensure your children who rather be very trendy with the world culture, how do you ensure that?
OK，好好一個題目，OK，俾我OK，我哋每個我相信 NCC 係一個好特別嘅地方，能夠睇到咁多種嘅色人。我從來冇睇嗰個教會能夠有咁多種嘅種種嘅民族人喺處，所以 NCC 係一個好特別嘅家，我相信全世界最特別嘅家響度啊係。如果你發覺 NCC 係一個地方，點解我會咁講？好似 Auntie Pat 問我咧。
冇問題，冇問題。OK，都幾好一個問題嚟㗎。So I think this is very good question to me about language. I found NCC is a very special church. I can't find. I think even in the world because we have so many race, so many languages here. And continue.
就好似我哋能夠幫其他嘅族民去睇翻其他嘅族民，我哋會幫我哋學習其他嘅族民咁嘅嘢咯。
Then to this, we can learn from each other, their background, okay, their tradition.
OK， 好似有啲咩問我點解我成日都 stop 到佢哋翻屋企，我就唔好再講英文。
So every time I told Pat that my children come home, I want them not to speak English.
我哋係廣西人嘛，要講翻廣西話。
We are from Cantonese, so we have to speak Cantonese.
喺我國圖咧，我哋俾細路哥去讀書，唔係叫佢忘本，唔係叫忘咗我哋嘅忘本，連自己嘅話，我哋廣東話都唔曉講。
So we send them to school is not ask them to learn to forget our origin, our root. Okay, cannot be your own language. You must know how to speak.
我俾你去學更加多嘅語文，唔係叫你去忘記自己嘅語文。
Yeah, so you learn as many language is good, but it's not to forget your own language. Okay.
所以我發覺今日嘅年輕嘅代，大致上都會用英文嚟溝通，但忘記甚至乎你睇佢係唐人。
Yeah. So nowadays I saw a lot of youngsters, even though they Chinese, they speak English. Okay.
當我用廣東話又或者用國語去問個後生嘅嗰代，佢會答我 I don't know Chinese。But I Chinese.
You see. So this one you know lah, huh?
所以喺我嘅本人嘅睇法 我哋必須要一個移民，我哋嘅祖賴嘅傳達咗落嚟，我哋都要點樣講啊？去保持呢個話咯。如果失傳咗，你睇下係咪一個唔係咁好嘅畫面？你試下幻想下，多4、5代全部都係冇你咩識文嘅人，都係講緊英文嘅，但係自己嘅話係流傳咗。我唔明白咗自己以前嘅祖賴嘅話，係咪一個好嘅畫面呢？大家都要思考下呢個問題咯。我認為。
I think we have to think that if down the road 4, 5 generation and we lost our mother language, so I think not a very good scenario lah. So I hope that we try our best to preserve it.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, I know my time is running out. To Adam, I think, yeah, Father wear many hats. One of his, if of course, the preservation of each of our culture, and also to Adam. Just one very quick thing. How much more time do I have so that I can wrap up? 10 minutes, okay. Of the many roles that you do as a father, right? We're just talking about that, right? Whether it's the disciplinary when it comes to the phone use, whether it's protect the culture, of the many, many roles, which role you are most proud about? And which role you feel like you need to improve?
I think every role my method is to experience it, but you must know to make a decisions. Okay, I let you experience everything that have found good and bad. So I'm very proud that Jack able to pick up, to the process of thinking. So you need to be smart. We are not asked you to avoid or not to, but you must be smart to gauge what is good and what is bad. I think I very happy that he able to do that. Okay, of course, it's different skill and different result lah. And the things that I'm not very good is sometimes not straight enough. That this also influence him not to be stand firm on certain things. And I think the only thing I feel like I'm not doing much is we teach our children to do life, to what is doing, what is do, but I feel like I really not teaching or not nurturing him in the words of God, in God, because I thought, church will help him lah, pastor is there, But really, thank you, pastor, for, I think pastor is more kanjong than me, So I think sometimes it's not right lah, It's not that other people kanjong, but I think we do let go in this area. We more kanjong on what you eat, what you do, how you behave, how your hair look like. But the come to God, okay lah, this one pass, So I think this one I need to back up a bit, that I must have that seriousness raised.
I think, thank you. That is very important. Since we are in church, we cannot not talk about this, isn't it? The role of a father is a spiritual leader. So we go back to Pastor Fu Sing. How do you ensure to carry that spiritual leaders, especially leading your as a role of the father? Can you share a little bit of advice, maybe how to make sure that the fathers do not neglect this area?
Okay. As far as spiritual leadership is concerned, the church is a big part of it. So we make sure that our kids are involved in church. And to a certain extent, what Adam says, I also can relate. Because church is, they're serving on Saturday, sometimes Friday, and also on Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, sometimes we tend to let go of the gas a bit. right? Okay. So when I give this advice, it's also advice to me that we need to actually maintain that spiritual temperature every day. I tend to do that not so much by being formal in the sense that, okay, this time we all pray together, this time we must do this together or read the Bible together. That's good, right? If you can do that, that's good. I try to do it more by example in my daily life. I mean, you all may know in COVID, I lost my job, so there's a role reversal in my house, right? Jinai works most of the time, and I'm now doing the cooking and also the driving. So I'm trying to find a balance where when I do that, there's some spirituality there as well. So I try to enjoy what I do. I try to do the best that I can, even though it's not a normal role for a father, right? So we had to make some sacrifices so that Jinai can work and her business can grow, and then it became our business as well. But for her to do that, I had to kind of like turn down some job offers, right? And say, okay, I still need to be home to take care of the kids. So hopefully with that kind of attitude, with that kind of sacrifice, it comes across, they can also see God's sacrifice, So that's where I'm coming from. So in terms of some rules, okay, you must do this, must say that, I don't have, but they're looking at our lives. So that's a bigger lesson than anything else.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And for the last question, maybe each one of you can take turn to share. And how has fatherhood changed you and draw you closer to God? How has fatherhood changed you? I know not applicable to Christina and Christina, but we start with Alan. How has fatherhood changed you and draw you closer to God?
To be honest, the moment you're a father, your priorities totally gone. Okay? There is no me time, there is no doing your own things at your leisure or whatever. Everything that you do involves them, is about them and all that. So you are always busy taking care of them. You put them first. All right? So it's not easy. It's not easy. A lot of challenges there now. What I usually do, especially at this season, you all know story of Sophia and I. We lost our job during COVID and all. So things has become more intense. So one thing I learned now in this season is that I just learn how to let go. Don't worry too much. Just let it go. Trust in God, and do your best. Do your best. Don't give up. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan.
It's a constant learning process. I think fatherhood has taught me more about God. Because I was just thinking about it that day while driving, and we fathers are given a very special privilege because God is a father. So I was just thinking about, okay, how does God love his children? If you wonder, hey, actually, how does God love his children? Then you just have to ask yourself how you love your children. Then we are given that perspective, and it really opens my heart and realize that God really loves us because we really love our kids. We may not be perfect in showing it, right? But the idea is that I understand what God's love is because we have that same gang as God.
OK，俾我好似 有兩個好似踢波咁，我哋兩個 chapter 咯。
This is like a football, got two faces.
前邊咧就可以講唔認識神，
In my first son, I can say that I don't know God.
後邊咧就認識神。
Then
俾我
the second time I become father, so I know God.
都係嗰句我哋擔任爸爸嘅責任，極之好龐大嘅。
So our role and our responsibility is really, really big.
嗰個家人嘅方向同埋所有一切都係爸爸嘅影響好大嘅，
So the father influence in the family is very, very great.
都係嗰句，我哋必須要，我哋要掌管我哋嘅自己嘅脾性啊。如果你愛嘅細路哥愛好愛壞嘅，就係睇你自己噶啦。
So lastly, I say that we have to guard our character and our behavior because this will determine your children's future, whether they become a good or become a bad.
如果你望到我仔 K.C. 係點樣，我就係嗰個爸爸啦。
If you look Casey, then you will reflect this is me.
所以頭一樣嘢必須要跟隨神嘅律法，我相信呢個樣嘢係冇錯嘅。我哋一生人嘅腳步交託俾神嘅掌管嘅係。
So follow God's way and God's step. Nothing can be wrong.
喺嗰度。
That's all. Okay, mine is. I think there is a lot of to learn, but one thing is, I learned that spending time is the crucial. Okay, it's not know how or know what. If you know when, that means that even though you don't know anything, but if you spend time, because I think my younger time, my father very seldom spend time with us. Okay, can you imagine if my father is know how to become a father, but he didn't spend time with me? I'd rather choose a father that do not know anything, but he spend time. So I think the more you spend time, it seems like you and God, you have to spend time with God. If you know a lot of God, but you didn't spend time, I think it's the same. So this I have learned. So to want to see a good result, time is the factor.
Okay, so to summarize, thank you so much for the valuable lesson we learned. Of course, we learned from Alan is just being there, knowing how to do the bonding time with the children, and for Pastor Fusing, knowing the temperament of each of the children, and finding that niche, to come in and work with your kids, and for Uncle Nelson to know that, that take a good look at yourself. The big mirror, he keeps emphasizing, look at the mirror, how you are is, your children is a direct mirror to yourself. And Uncle Adam, thank you for valuable nuggets about being silent and being present. And of course, thank you again, Christina, and Christina for that insight into Uncle Dicky as well as Pastor Elisha. We definitely are with you, and we are celebrating you because we know it's not easy to be a father. It's definitely not easy. On your shoulder rests the kingdom of God. How do you lead without stepping on toes? How do you lead without exerting dominance? How do you serve without asking to be served? And I definitely know, and we definitely want to say sorry. And somebody said I need to pray more, isn't it? I cannot remember who said that. And we definitely need to be ever more conscious and take this intentionally, need to pray for you guys, because you are leading. Your future of your children is the future of the world and the future of us all. Thank you so much. Okay, back the mic to Pastor.
Just stay here. Thank you. Just a couple of wrap-up thoughts. A lot of us, most of us come out from dysfunctional homes whether we like it or not. Most of us think our homes are all right until we see God's idea of a home, of a father, of a mother, of a marriage, of children. So whenever I in a few days' time, I'll be teaching a bunch of people in a seminary on the fatherhood of God. And I always start with the dysfunctional family to unlock something, because we all think we come from an okay home. We've all had a father in our life. I lost my dad when I was 8 years old. But my memories of my father, very pleasant memories. Very pleasant memories. And yet I saw the function of different men that was missing in many ways. Sometimes we can idolize or romanticize the idea of a father. And sometimes the challenge is this: in church, we can over spiritualize it as well. And the challenge, like Adam was saying, Pastor Kanchong a bit more for that. But the truth is this: parents and the church need to work together, because you don't want one set of rules at home and one set of principles in church, because they are conflicting. Because the kids will know where to choose. And the easier one is the better bet. So sometimes the kids, like my dad, don't say, "Why is Pastor bothered?" So we have that. So we all learn together. But I'm going to ask all of them one more question. But the girls, actually, if you could go back to your younger self, not that you're old, you're young. For Christina Gennison, it'll be a bit different, the question. What would you do differently with your father? Microphone.
I think for me, if I were to go back, I would say intentionally spending more time with my dad. I know it's busy, but it's important to have that, what the fathers here said, to have that time, either doing something or speaking, just doing something alongside with your child is very important. So I would like that if that happens.
Wonderful.
I think it's a bit different for me, and this one I'm speaking of my biological father. And I wish that if I were to go back in time, I wish that I knew more words and I could understand my father better, because for a very long time, my view of my dad is mostly taken out by anger. So whatever he does, I viewed it in the way that he's an angry man. So now that I'm grown up, I can see that there's a lot of things that is in him that I wish that I could help with, but you can only discover or understand. I can only understand him as much as he wants to be understood. So that goes both ways. So to answer the question, I hope I'm answering. I wish that I was able to communicate more and understand him better.
And for your foster dad? No, just think I'm not here. Just think I'm not here. Remember, we're going home today. No.
And for daddy, of course, I would say that growing up with so many children, it was quite rare to have a one-to-one time, I would say. But when the times that we were together, I was also like almost all of you guys scared, because we weren't in the same house before and our relationship was quite distant. But now that I'm closer to him, I understand that to not be afraid to speak out loud and to stand, to have a conversation and not be scared because of his loud character, I would say.
Very good. Yeah. We, over the years, have probably fostered and raised over 50 kids. if you know that, over 50. That dynamic, I will say this, I will never recommend for anyone. Never. It takes its toll in so many ways. And in many ways, I would say, even we don't realize it. But at this spectrum of my life, when I look at it, I realize the cracks. Whether it's in our relationship, whatever, I see it and I said, you know what? Yeah, I will never recommend this for anybody. But that's the price we have paid. You know, that's the toll it's taken on us in many ways. So when I look at it, Ellen, if you could go back, if you go back, what would be one thing that you will do differently as a father?
Sorry, Pastor, you're asking me about my father?
You be as a father, you.
Me.
As a father, what would you do differently? How would you parent differently? What would be a different engagement? If you had the chance, Nelson has a chance to do round 2 after 15 years. But
I would say, if I can go back to my younger years, see what happened was, back then we were busy, I was in advertising industry, and so is Sophia. So our days is like there's no sunlight. We work, we provide, we provide, and all that. So Ken and Keith is somewhat neglected in a sense of presence, and to a certain extent, is the emotional part. So that's the part that we were lacking with my 2 boys. So if I can go back in time, that's the issue that I would like to address.
very
Just
good.
be with them, spend more quality time, emotionally and all that.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. Thank you. I don't know how many of you remember the name Billy Graham. He literally is known as the evangelist of the century. He would golf with presidents and the crowds, and somebody who kept his life very straight, integrity. He was asked a question towards the end of his life. What would you do differently? Without batting an eye, he said, I will stay home more. I'll stay home more. I would not be busy with work. Because 3/4 of the time he was in another country, in another country, in another country. Yeah? Okay.
If I could turn back the clock, right?
Grow more hair. I mean, no, yeah, sorry.
That one no choice, lah. That one. If I could turn back the clock and do something different, I would find a community of fathers to hang out with.
Very
A
good.
few friends who are fathers who I can also look up to and cross-encourage one another. I never had that, right? All my friends saw, I was one of the younger ones who started a family earlier, So if you look back, I really needed a bit more support from a group, which will say, hey, how are you doing? And just see how other fathers are managing, how do they struggle, how do they overcome
Very
their
good.
challenges, and talk it out a little bit more. I felt I didn't really have too much of that.
Very good. Abang?
OK，我係第2場嘅，屬於 second chapter。OK，second round 我好清楚。OK，我好清楚係我就算點樣教導個細路哥都好，係咪？係用我自己嘅爸爸嘅思維同埋用人生嘅節奏去教個細路哥。
Yeah, to me, I go through the second time. So I think no matter how I put the effort, how good it is, okay, I only can teach the children.
但今日我會交俾主耶穌基督去行使我嘅細路哥佢嘅腳步，佢嘅一生人嘅腳步，即係跟隨神先能夠得到永生同埋嗰個真正嘅人生嘅道路。
I would say I need to dedicate my children to God and let God to direct their path. Okay. Satu kali sudah susah nak balik. Ini dua kali. But you know what? He's still here. Yeah, I agree that if go back 10 years, I remember when we got married, Pastor asked us to read one book, Man in the Mirror. So I remember that this is very important. Okay, I will, how we say that, to explore more in God's way instead of the worldly way. Because the past 10 years, we worry a lot how we do well in the world. But at the end, both also tak berapa jadi. So I think, if go back, rather I choose one, sure jadi one, better.
Wow, thank you, thank you. And the whole dynamic here, again, like I said it during Mother's Day, it's not a pedicured, manicured dialogue, but to be very vulnerable, to be open. Trust me, they were all suffering for Jesus with the questions, like wondering, oh dear, you know. Christina Garrison is one of those also who is a caregiver along with Cynthia, her older sister. Lavanya is not here, she's working today. But more of them, they actually, she's at home, she oversees that. Half a week we parent his kids, the younger two. They're with us most of the time. And so the dynamics are different. You see a lot of different things you go through. And you also have the upheaval of your own emotions and various things. But for us, at the end of the day, is pause and know that we have a perfect Father in God. We have a perfect Father in God. And the whole thought is that we draw closer to Him. The series we're thinking of right now, we're doing it, is The Amazing Jesus. And yet, Philip asked Jesus a question: show us the Father. In John, Jesus' response was this. He said, Philip, how long have you been with me that you ask me this question? And he draws him into a different dimension. And the dimension that Jesus draws him into is this: how do I treat the outcasts of society? How do I treat a person rejected by others? How do I treat a prostitute? How do I treat an orphan? How do I treat people that society rejects? He said, Philip, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father. He said, I am a direct replica and representation of the Father. Which means how I treat everybody is the way the Father had asked me to treat everyone. So, in Jesus, we have the perfect mirror of a perfect God, of a perfect Father. So, as we look today is chapter 12, is it? Chapter 8 of Luke. As we keep reading it, discover the amazing Jesus, discover an amazing Father. And thank you, panel. I think it's been an amazing time.